yesterday when we signed off, Hugh Douglas, we handed it to the afternoon show after a little crossover, and we got to hear Jaylen Brown for the first time as a member of the Sixers. And my first impression is I'm very impressed by Jaylen Brown. Listening to him speak and kind of just his attitude and demeanor and personality. He seems, and obviously we've gleaned some of this from his days in Boston because he's been in the league for a while and he's been a tremendous player. But he seems very sure of himself. He seems like he's coming here with a tremendous chip on his shoulder to really stick it to the Boston Celtics, and I love that. I love that he's coming here with something to prove, even though he didn't really have anything to prove in his career. He's been a Finals MVP. He's been an All-Star. He's been a tremendous basketball player, but he's coming here again. There's like I sensed an edge to him yesterday, but I also sensed a player that is excited to be here and get a new start and play with these players. Hugh, your first impressions of Jaylen Brown. I loved listening to him yesterday, and I feel like he is going to be he's going to be a perfect fit for what they need on the court, but also I think like there's a kind of a steely-eyed thing about him where he's all business, and I like that about him.
I'm excited about basketball season, Joe. I'm excited about what could be. I don't remember any time that we had so much going on that we talked about basketball this late in the game. Football was on last night.
Sure.
And, we're watching him. He's shout out to him and his grandpa, hanging out with his grandpa last night. So it's one of those things where basketball, people are excited about the upcoming basketball season, no question.
Well, and specifically excited since the Jaylen Brown trade, since the LeBron James signing. And here there's an excitement level to the point where it feels like we're building up to championship expectations for the Sixers team. And
yes.
Listening to Jaylen Brown yesterday, a couple things stood out. One, how much the chip on his shoulder is there. Clearly, he does not love the Celtics or even like the Celtics at this point. I mean, I can't wait to watch him against the Celtics because he's dropping 40 in those games. He's going to stick it to him. You could tell by the way he answered the question about Jason Tatum, they don't have much of a relationship anymore. That feels like an A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts thing. That thing went sideways. But the other thing I got from listening to Jaylen Brown yesterday is although this team is super talented and the expectations should be very high, Jaylen Brown made it clear that, this is going to be a process. He kept talking about that. It's going to take time, process. And I get the sense that he realizes this is going to be a long-term thing, not a short-term thing, right? Sometimes you create a team, it's like, from day one, they're just going to dominate.
Yeah.
This thing could take some time. I mean, he was pretty clear yesterday that it's going to be about the work they put in, not just the talent they have, the work they put in. Let's hear from Jaylen Brown a little bit yesterday. And I like this because he's a guy who had the ball in his hands a lot last year. Does he need that again? How are they going to make this work with one basketball? Talking about how nothing else motivates him besides just winning.
With so many traditional high-volume scorers on this team, I mean, you have scoring champions. You were fourth in the league last year. Do you feel you're going to have to change your approach to how you are going to score? Is there enough, the common question is there enough ball to go around for four guys who are used to scoring so much? Is there anything you feel like you'll have to do to adapt to so many teammates who can score?
My focus is winning. So, I mean, obviously, other people's focus may be scoring and my focus is going into every practice, every meeting, every shoot around, every film session is like, how do we win night in and night out? So sometimes that may change. Sometimes it may look different. But whatever it takes, at this point in my career, nothing else really moves me. Like, I don't care about the outside success. I never did. You know what I mean? I don't care about the MVP awards or the finals MVP. None of that stuff really moves me. It's nice. But the only thing that's going to move me is doing something collectively. So a championship. So that's what I'm looking forward to, trying to start that journey and building towards. But, all the other stuff that comes along with it is just a distraction to me. Like, whatever it takes on a night-to-night basis, it's like whatever it takes.
Well, I love that because this is a guy that had the ball in his hands basically the whole year last year and now has to come to a team where there's a lot more players that want the ball in their hands. So he's just naturally going to have it less and his usage rate will go down and he's going to have to be, it's going to be more of a group thing than a him thing. Last year was because of the injury to Tatum, Hugh, it was his show, right? It was him and a bunch of role players and they won a lot of games, but it was his show. Now he comes here and it's a fair question. Like, how do you make this work? There's one basketball. And there's 5 players, or at least 4 of them, because Edgecombe is still young, but there's 4 players that are used to having the ball in their hands all the time and scoring a lot of points. And that's not really how it works in the NBA, right? Someone has to kind of take a step back, or 2 players have to take a step back. And I love that he said, I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want to win.
Yeah, but you kind of wonder, when you're so used to it's one thing, we were talking to Ike and Spike yesterday. Ike said something to me that kind of stuck with me. Is like, that's, you're going to say all the right things in that moment because that's what you're supposed to do as a press conference. And I guess for me, I come from a background where, in football, especially on defense, we're taught from day one, you have to rely on the other 10 guys that are on the field with you. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where you have to be a little bit more selfless in order to have success.
Sure.
Because you could, break down the integrity of the defense and all this other stuff. So basically you got to depend on the other 10 guys. In basketball, you can be that dude, that one dude that elevates the play around everybody else. We've seen it so many different times before. I think that basketball now, though, this new version of basketball is more team oriented, but still, you're gonna have to. How much are you gonna have to change the style and the way that you want to play in order to fit in all of this?
Well, it's a huge question. And when listen to what Jaylen Brown said here, because this is probably the line of all the things he said yesterday. He said a lot, a lot of headline-worthy things. But listen to what he said about kind of what they have to do and what it's going to take for them to get to where they want to go. Because this is really now, to me, the story of where the Sixers go the next 5, 6, 7, 8 months.
I think they did a great job. I think they did a great job. Obviously, on paper, we're excellent, I think. So we have a lot of talent, compared to other teams in the league. But I've been around a long time, long enough to know that just what you have on paper don't really mean nothing. It doesn't really – it can if you put the work in, but it also – if you allow distractions, if you allow the media to get into your locker room, if you allow certain things and the personalities don't work, it can be a detriment. So I'm aware that, it could go either way. It just takes the amount of work and the transparency and the leadership can really guide this thing or not. So for me, I'm just focused on that. How can I, lead with my heart, lead with my work, my mentality? Obviously on paper, we look great. But, let's all slow down. It takes real work every single day in order to make something like this happen. So, for me, the work has started already. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a stranger to work. My relationship with work is great. So, I'm looking forward to doing whatever it is I need to do, whoever I need to talk to make sure that we get on the same page and that everybody's focused on the same thing. Because we do that, then we'll be where we want to be.
All right, a couple of things he said in that. Let's slow down, and it takes work. And, Hugh, that's why when I heard him say all that, and I'm thinking about this team and all the newness that is here and all the different things, I actually think, look, I'm excited. I can't wait for basketball season. But I think it's a little bit unfair for us to expect a championship in their first year together. It's not how basketball works. It just really hasn't been how the NBA has worked in my entire life. And I actually think it's harder now than it ever has been. Do I think they're going to be a really good team? Yes. Do I think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Absolutely. Do I think they can get to the finals? They could. I mean, and I haven't felt that way about the Sixers in a long time. But to expect a championship in their first year, it feels like a lot. I mean, I've mentioned LeBron James has won everywhere he's gone. Mm-hmm. Never won in his first year anywhere. That first year is almost like a trial period to figure out what works, what doesn't, what do we got to tweak, who do we got to move out, who do we got to move in. He won in his second year with the Lakers, won in his second year back with the Cavs, won in his second year in Miami. Got close in the first year in a few of those spots, got to the finals. But, Hugh, I don't think it's fair to expect a championship in year one with this group with all the new. I mean, the Knicks been playing together forever. The Thunder been playing together for a long time. Now the Spurs been playing together for a long time. They're ahead. I'm not expecting it year one. Hugh Douglas, is it fair to expect a championship this season?
Well, let me start by saying this. Life isn't fair.
So you're saying it's not fair?
Life isn't fair. And you can't tell me that as a fan, like everything he said is true. And it takes time to gel, and he's trying to temper fans' expectations with the reality of playing this game and coming together, gelling, continuity, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
But we're fans. And the first thing that we did when we got him, we started thinking about, we were contenders. Mm-hmm. And we started wondering about, what other piece we needed. And then that's when LeBron James' name started floating out there. And there's not a person on this planet like you. We try to temper our expectations with reality, but the reality is this: when all of these moves were made, that was the first thing that jumped in everybody's head, whether you want to admit it or not. Now, he's not lying about what he's saying and how he's feeling, but as a fan, it's one of those things where you're expecting that. You're expecting them to go deep in the playoffs at least.
Well, that, yes.
Yeah, you're expecting them to go deep, and you're expecting them to show up and show out.
But do you expect? Is it fair to expect a championship year one?
I think it's fair because life isn't fair.
That's a lot. It is a lot.
Life ain't fair, man.
Yeah, but
and as a fan,
but there's reality, and then there's
okay.
not
But
reality.
as a fan, okay, when the Seattle Seahawks last year got Sam Darnold, I don't think anybody expected them to go to the Super Bowl, right?
I agree. I don't even think their fans thought it was a reality.
Even when they got to the Super Bowl, probably people like, hey, we don't know. But they were playing well.
They were the favorite by a lot.
I mean, but still, my point is this: you're talking about first year there, Sam Darnold. They went to the Super Bowl, and they won it.
Sure.
Like, they were not the favorites. When you go back and you look at all the reports and the projections and everything.
No, it took till halfway through the season for people to realize how good they were.
That's the point. So we are in an era of sports where all of those things that used to be, hey, it takes time to gel, and those things are flown. They fly out the door because there's too many examples of going against the grain nowadays.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that to an extent, but not basketball. Basketball is a very chemistry. It's a chemistry sport. I mean, those guys have to learn to play together, and then with the reality of the team and their age, and obviously Joel Embiid and when he's going to play and when he's not going to play. Like, how many games will they actually play together this regular season before the postseason?
I tell you.
I don't know.
I'll tell you why. It's you're right about basketball and the chemistry game, and we talked about what Ike said yesterday, but. Here's the reality. When Jaylen Brown sits up there and he says, hey, I'm willing to do what it takes, people are going to hold his feet to the fire, not knowing that there might be another layer to that story. He might just be telling you what you want to hear. And he might want the ball in his hand. Because, like you said, he's going to be here for a couple of years. LeBron's going to be here. Mm-hmm. Tyrese Maxey. Like, who was it? Kevin Durant or somebody said, you got at least 4 cats that can score 25 points on this team. Mm-hmm. And the report even talked about how most guys are used to having the ball in their hands.
Right.
It's easy to say what you're willing to do when you don't have to do it right now. He was just at the game throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game yesterday.
Well, that's why I don't expect it in year one. Like, it's a
no, but
the talent is there, but the challenge is now beginning. Like, how do you do this?
But the point that I'm making is, he told us he's willing to sacrifice.
I love it.
So that's what we're expecting him to do.
But he's only one, right? I mean,
and he's one. But when you talk about, because this is how I look at it, Joe. When you talk about the guys that have ego on this team, big ego. Mm-hmm. Okay, Joel Embiid. Right?
That's the biggest one. That's the biggest question.
But Joel Embiid has been hurt his whole career,
right?
And he has not been. You have not been able to account. Haven't been able to count on Joel Embiid,
sure,
for years. Tyrese Maxey's still young in his development. You could tell he's a big LeBron fan. So I think that he'll be more willing to cater towards LeBron than anything. Him and VJ.
I think they will. Yeah.
So what we're talking about, Joel and Jaylen.
Yeah, but it's not as easy as you're making it sound.
No, I know it's not. But when you have one guy. That when the reports come out, that one guy says that he's willing to do whatever he can to win, that's Jaylen. And the way it was reported, I don't believe that's the case. That Joel Embiid says, I'm going to do whatever it is not to get hurt ever again and play hard. Yep. Then what are we doing?
Well,
I mean that to me tells me that we're in a good space to make this thing come together.
Of course, but there's also the reality of just how long it takes them to feel themselves on a basketball court together. Like the Miami Heat all wanted to win. They lost in the finals their first year, right? Like they needed a second year to figure it out. And those
but they got there.
But that's not what we're talking about. But,
no, I mean I know they won, but I'm saying they got there.
Once you're there, I mean, everyone's going to expect them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So for me, when first of all, I think they're going to get there.
So Hugh Douglas says the Sixers are going to the finals.
Yeah, I think.
Now we got a headline.
I think it's.
Here we go.
I think it's unrealistic expectations, but I'm a fan.
Okay.
And I expect them to get that. And I expect them to win it.
I think it's unfair to expect the title year one. Kyle, where do you come down as we hear from Jaylen Brown? Finally, it took a month to get a press conference. It was good though. I did like hearing him yesterday.
I thought he sounded great. I mean, sounds like a really intelligent dude, all about winning, all business. But I don't know. I think I'm with Hugh. Like I get where you're coming from, but. This is why you go out and do all this.
Of course.
Like, this is why you go out and get Jaylen Brown. This is why you entice LeBron James to come here in his age 42 season. Like, it's because you think that they have a chance to go and cash in and win a title this year. Like, I get it's hard to get this thing to gel, like, right away. And it might take a very long time. That's probably going to take the whole season, if it does at all. But I guess I'll ask you, why shouldn't I expect this group to be able to figure that out? Like a group of guys who, let's be honest now, like we tipped the weenie scale all the way. These guys are winners now.
Yeah,
we have Jaylen
did.
Brown who knows how to
We finally have gotten all the weenies
Yeah.
out. Almost all the weenies out.
Like
Yeah.
we have
crazy.
Jaylen Brown who
Yeah.
knows how to win. Nick Nurse is a championship-winning coach.
Yep.
LeBron James, like the ultimate winner in basketball right now. Even Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, like that guy's won titles. Like this group, I think, should know how to win. Like this is a group that I think should be able to figure it out this season. I think it's fair to expect them to figure it out this season. And then there's also kind of like a if not now, when element to this. Like this could be championship or bust this year, more than people actually know. Like we're talking about a LeBron James who I know has been incredible with however old he is, 41, 42 this year. But that could realistically fall off a cliff at any point. We also don't even know if he's going to be here for both the 2 years. He has a player option for the second year. Say things don't go well. Does he decide he doesn't like it here anymore or whatever? And then there's Joel Embiid. I don't know how many more years of Joel Embiid at whatever he is right now. Like I know he's not I don't think he's going to be a great defender this year, but he's still a really good scorer.
Right.
Like I don't know how many more years left I have of this version of Joel Embiid. And then I don't know how many more years that the East or the NBA is going to be this open.
I don't either.
They're second in odds behind the Knicks, Joe. Like,
I know.
Are you really that scared of the Knicks?
No, but they've played together longer.
Fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. But if you're the number 2 team,
then you have a real shot
in odds in the East, then you should expect it.
Listen, I have great expectations for this team, and I expect them to be playing deep into May. And I haven't said those words out loud on this radio station probably ever, because I've never expected the Sixers to go that far. I think this is going to be an awesome team, and they will figure it out as time goes on. But I can't say like they have to win the title this year. Because I think that is so hard to do in a first year with a team in basketball. Basketball is the sport. It takes time. Now, to Kyle's point, they don't have much time, right? We understand how old LeBron is. We understand the reality of Joel's career. So they got 2 years. I'm not putting it on them this year. Where do you come down? 215-592-9494. Is it fair to expect the Sixers to win a championship this season?
Yes.
Hugh Douglas says yes. I say, that's a lot. No, I don't expect it.